Hi, welcome to Elder Scrolls Online. This video aims to answer the questions of new and returning players. There is a lot of ground to cover, so please use the sections below for navigation. All links and additional resources will be listed in the description. 3 fundamental things to know about this game. ESO is unlike other MMOs. It invests a lot in its questing experience, and it is very solo and casual friendly. Although ESO is superficially similar to Skyrim, the underlying systems are very different. ESO's combat may feel slow and floaty at the beginning, but it evolves to be fast-paced and complex. Starting out, you may wonder which edition of ESO is best to buy. Use this purchase guide to learn about the monetization system, ESO Plus, and other aspects relating to real money purchases. ESO takes about 110 GB of your storage, and some more to unpack and install. The installation progress bar is purely decorative, so ignore it and go do something else for a bit. When you launch the game, you will be asked if you want to enable accessibility mode. If you use screen narration or an adaptive controller, enable this mode, otherwise leave it off. Accessibility mode forces gamepad UI and removes most mouse inputs, so using it on mouse and keyboard setup will lead to issues. Which class and race should you pick? To put it simply, it doesn't really matter. All classes and races are good. However, if you must choose, here is our general ranking for races for different content. Each race belongs to an alliance, which only matters if you want to play group PvP with friends. There are no restrictions for alliances outside of that. As for class choice, while you can just play your main class, later in the game there's an option to take skills from other classes. This is covered in the progression chapter of this video. Therefore, instead of a class ranking, here's just a visual summary of each class. Note that classes, races, gear, and roles are not tied to each other, so you have a lot of freedom in creating your character. The tutorial introduces you to the main story of ESO as released in 2014. Returning players might remember a different tutorial area. That is because all various tutorials were removed, and the original Cold Harbor opening was brought back to make it less confusing for players and better tie it to ESO's main quest. Tutorial will teach you some basic combat actions and meeting skills which will come later. A lot of information will be presented via text pop-ups, which you can revisit later in the help menu. You do not need to linger in the tutorial before departing to Tamriel, though you can take the opportunity to pick up some weapons and armor and unlock their respective skill lines. There is no limit on how many skill lines you can have, so more is always better. There are 3 armor skill lines, light, medium and heavy, unlocked by equipping 3 pieces of the same weight. For weapons, kill an enemy with the weapon to unlock its skill line. Skills are the core of ESO's combat system, so unlock your class and weapon skills as you level. When a skill is leveled up, it splits into 2 morphs. Morph your skills when you can. There are almost 600 skill points in ESO. and you can reset skills for free as many times as you want, so just pick every skill you get for now. As you level up, you will assign your attributes, magicka, health, and stamina. Putting it simply, your damage and healing scales off of your maximum offensive attribute, magicka or stamina. Therefore, pick one and stack all points in it. Your weapon choice has no bearing on which attribute is your main, rather it is the cost of your skills you're using. In the leveling section, we will see why health does not need investing in. You can always reassign attributes, so don't fret doing it wrong. Upon finishing the tutorial, you will get some rewards in your inventory, including a set of armor and some consumables. Feel free to use all of that. Your gear does not matter until you hit the level cap, so it's all disposable. Returning players will encounter the Hero's Return pop-up, which is like an abridged version of the tutorial and serves the same purpose, so I'm only mentioning it briefly. Arriving to Tamriel, you will see a lot of quests around you. Diamond icon stands for a main or zone quest. This progresses the main story, gives you skill points, and guides you from zone to zone. Simplified icon stands for side quests. Your quest log can only hold 25 quests, so you can abandon and pick up quests freely. Take note of the compass bar on the top of your screen. It will show you the nearby quests, landmarks, and sky shards. Sky shards are especially handy as they give you skill points, which you'll need a lot of. It's very easy to get lost or overwhelmed with quest objectives, so make use of the zone guide. It's located on the side panel of your map, and it will help you clear each zone in an orderly manner. You can also use this chronological guide if you want to play the content in order of release. Want to get off the starter island and travel around? No problem. Way shrines are the main way to travel around Tamriel. Interact with one and you will be able to teleport to any other discovered way shrine free of charge, or recall to a way shrine for a fee. Some zones will have way shrines already unlocked for you, but what if none are? In this case, you can group up with somebody who is in that zone and travel to them out of your group menu, or a guildmate or a friend. Or use the navigators. You will find them at the docks in most zones, or near carts in landlocked areas. Navigators can take you to most zones in Tamriel. Lastly, you can walk or ride between zones that are sharing a border. Observe the map to see roads connecting them. Cyrodiil is the exception to this, as it is a PvP zone and has to be entered via special means. Let's address the junk in your bags. Items marked as treasure, trash, monster trophy, or gear with the ornate trait should be sold to any NPC merchant. Gear and weapons that you aren't wearing can be deconstructed at the crafting stations. More about it in the crafting section. Consume recipes and motifs. Poisons are abundant and useless, so destroy them, even the crown ones. Keep higher quality foods, potions, and soul gems to use in your exploration. Repair kits are handy for fixing your gear on the road, and any NPC merchant will repair your gear for a little coin. Soul gems are used for reviving yourself and others, and charging the enchantments of your weapons. Keep experience scrolls for when you want to level faster, but don't worry about wasting them, as you'll get plenty from login and leveling rewards. There is no difference between crown consumables and normal ones. Crown items are not better or unique. Crafting materials will go in your inventory if you don't have ESO+. You can sell or destroy all of the cheap white quality ones to free up some space. Your inventory has several tabs, so you can filter for items easily. Quest items have their own tab. Place consumables on your quickslot wheel to access them via queue, like potions and foods. To increase inventory size, find a pack merchant in any big city. It only costs gold and the cost ramps up, but you'll be able to afford it later. You also have a bank, which is account-wide and can be accessed in any city. Banks can store almost all items and currencies, and can be used to transfer items between your characters. Storage chests are another way to expand inventory. You could get them via crafting systems later in the game. Let's take a look at the crown store. Are there any powerful and must-have items? No, it's mostly cosmetics. Some of these tabs will appear useful, but don't be fooled. All of these are free in-game or are just useless. There are also crown crates, which are ESO's version of gambling. I cannot show you them because there are loot boxes and I live in Belgium. You get 500 crowns to start off with, but there is nothing useful to buy with that amount, so just let them be. We only need a couple of free items from the crown store, the room to spare quest and the armory. While you cannot get free crowns, you can exchange gold with other players and get crown items for them. Artea explains how this process works in this video, though it's definitely a late game activity. It's possible to get crown crate cosmetics with Seals of Endeavor. It's a currency you earn by completing specific daily and weekly tasks, although it takes a long time to accumulate enough. Crown crate dupes and consumables are recycled into crown gems, which can be used for the same purpose as Seals of Endeavor. ESO's crafting system is quite complex. You can make your own buff foods, potions, enchantments for your gear and the gear itself. You can also upgrade gear and change its traits. It's a great source of gold and materials early on. Every big city has a full set of crafting stations, and they can also be placed in player homes. To level clothing, blacksmithing, woodworking, jewelry, and enchanting, bring gear to a crafting station. Enter the deconstruction tab and select pieces to process. Items with the intricate trait will give you more crafting XP. Crafting the gear yourself and deconstructing it does not give XP. Alchemy and provisioning level by crafting. To level them quickly, buy a bunch of cheap cooking recipes and ingredients in a guild store. Learn them and then craft the highest level recipe you can until you hit level 10 in provisioning. Then upgrade the first passive of its skill line and repeat the process with a higher level recipe. This is the same for alchemy, except you don't need the recipes, just put ingredients together until you level up. The most time-consuming task in ESO is researching gear traits. Traits add stats and effects to armor, weapons and jewelry, and to make gear with traits, you need to have them researched first. For example, to make a leather helmet in Divine's trait, you need to have researched Divines on a medium helmet, and so on. Each next trait takes more time to research than the previous one, and it goes up to over a month. To research a trait, bring a piece of gear that has the magnifying glass symbol to a crafting station and submit it in the Research tab. This is independent for each crafting profession. You can decrease research time and increase the amount of traits researching at once by upgrading the 5th passive in the respective profession's skill line. If you have ESO Plus or don't mind the inventory game, you can get into crafting grids. They will provide you with a stable stream of materials and gold. Starting at level 6, find a notice board near a crafting area in any big city and take its quest. It will lead you to Miliniv and Daniel Teleno, and they will certify you in crafting professions. Their locations are on screen now. They will teach you to gather materials, create and dismantle gear. If you level up a crafting profession to 10, you can skip their tutorial. For jewelry certification, travel to Alenor in Somerset and talk to this purple gentleman. After that, you will see that the crafting notice boards will have a blue marker on them, which stands for a repeatable quest. Daily crafting grids are easy and fast to complete, but can be even faster with add-ons, discussed in the respective section. Fashion is the true endgame. Most of the cosmetics on your character's body, like hairstyle, adornments, tattoos, makeup, skins, and personalities, come from the crown store, or sometimes achievements. Costumes are complete ensembles that cannot be altered and can only be dyed with ESO+. Polymorphs replace your character's model and idle animations entirely, and cannot be changed. Now, the real creativity lies in the outfit system. By interacting with an outfit station and selecting Outfit 1 in its interface, you can mix and match any styles and weights of armor that you have learned, and dye them however you like. Dyes are unlocked through achievements and have unlimited use. Armor and weapon styles come from motifs, which come as books and pages and drop from different content. You can also buy them from guild stores, most of them are cheap. Outfits go over your actual gear, and outfit styles are completely separate from armor crafted in a specific style. How do you earn gold in ESO? The best method is through guild trading. You don't need to join guilds to buy from guild stores. Simply walk up to a trader, search for what you need, and press Start Search. Otherwise, the interface won't populate. Because each store has a different guild behind it, their stock will be different, so you can use the websites on screen now to check prices and track down items. You can only buy the amount of items listed, you cannot split the stack. Your purchases will arrive to your in-game mail. To sell on guild stores, you need to join a guild that has a trader, and that will allow you to place items on its store. Artea explains it very well in this video. Joining a player guild can help you to learn the game, get some help with content or materials, and generally enrich your social experience. You can look for player guilds by utilizing the group finder, located on the G key for PC users. There you can set filters for the type of guild you're looking for, and don't forget to read through the guild's description before submitting your application. At this point, ESO might seem too easy for you, but it will gradually change. Until level 50, your stats are inflated via a buff called battle leveling. Because the world is not scaled, you are. Battle leveling will gradually fall off as you approach level 50. After that, you will rely on your skills and your build to defeat enemies. You will also start earning champion points, which go on top of your levels and can be used to activate perks like damage, healing, mitigation, and utility. Champion points do not give you skill points like levels, but you gain them faster. Some of you might be tempted to grind XP, however it's not actually beneficial for a new player. High level alone does not make a complete character. Your most important resource are skill points. Unlocking active and passive skills is how you become stronger, and you will earn XP alongside. Collecting sky shards, doing group dungeons, completing quests, and even PvPing will give you skill points as well as XP. So that is always the priority, even when leveling your second character, third, and so on. Class and weapon skill lines level when you place an ability from them on your active bar, and the more skills you slot from it, the more XP the skill line gets. Other skill lines do not progress with normal XP. For example, Mage's Guild levels up by picking up these glowing blue books. You can hover over a skill line to see how to raise it. To level skills, you slot them on your bar and make sure you are on that bar when you are about to receive XP from a quest or a kill. Using skills does not make them level faster. If you do decide to grind, you will find that many grinded methods are recommended online, and the most accessible ones are a bit of a waste of time, like grinding overland mobs and doing dolmens. In this video, Lucht compares different XP methods and shares the best strategies, though this is something only seasoned players should try. To get good, you need a build, but what constitutes a build in ESO? It's a combination of your race, skills, gear, Mundus Stone, consumables, and champion points. Let's go over each component. Race is the least important part of the build. It provides a small amount of stats, but only in the most difficult group content would this difference matter. Race can be changed for crowns in case you really can't live with the 1% difference. Skills are paramount to a build, although you do not usually use the same set of skills for everything. The rest of your build is working to power the skills you're casting. Gear is your armor, jewelry, and weapons. You will see that a lot of gear you get is assigned to a set, for example, trainee or prophet. Equipping a certain amount of set pieces will enable its bonuses. Two-handed weapons, including staves and bows, count as 2 pieces for sets, and sets do not carry over bars. Distribution of armor weights, types of weapons, enchantments, and traits are also significant. The concept of Mundus Stone is familiar to Skyrim players. It is a constant buff you obtain by interacting with one of these standing stones scattered throughout base game zones, or visiting a player home that has them collected. You can change Mundus Stones freely, it's a useful buff to always have active. Consumables are foods and potions. When engaging in combat, you should always have a food active. Foods boost your attributes and give recoveries. You can spot an inexperienced player by their very low health, they haven't taken their food. Until you reach max level, you can really use any food you come across. Potions boost your stats and give you buffs. They have a base cooldown of 45 seconds. As with foods, you can use whatever ones you find until you are a higher level, just to make a habit of it. Lastly, the combination of champion points will also affect the effectiveness of your build. Guides will list setups for very high level players, so you don't have to try and match them if you don't have enough points. Often guides will not list any champion points for the green champion point line. That is because that line is not for combat, and thus not relevant for builds. You can set it up however you like. Because sets are such a big part of ESO's combat system, we need to learn to decipher a set's tooltip. The top left of the item tooltip specifies its type and its style. Style is not relevant for combat, it's just visual. Top right is about the item's ownership status, which is usually either bound to your account or bind and equip, which means that you can trade it with other players. The title of the piece mentions what it is and what set it belongs to, though it's often not precise to the set's name. Damage or armor number is standard between pieces depending on their type and level, so it's not worth focusing on. Level and CP will always be the same once you get to gear cap level. It doesn't go above 50 and 160. The next line adds the name of the enchantment and its effect. Note that the strength of the enchantment depends on its quality, level, and the piece it's attached to. Trait adds an effect to the gear piece, like increased stats. All maxed level gear should have a trait. The bottom of the tooltip describes the full effects of the set and how many of them are active. So sets are important. How do you get them? There are over 600 different sets, and they are assigned to different content. Each zone, group dungeon, trial, and arena drops several sets. PvP is another source, and some sets can be crafted or collected through a late game system. When you get a set piece, unequip, destroy, or deconstruct it, it will be added to your collection. The purpose of it is twofold. By utilizing the transmute station, you can recreate gear you already collected. And also the collection will curate your drops from enemies, and try to give you pieces you don't yet have. Note that in PvE, sets have special rules as to what piece you get from which difficulty, and you can see these rules on screen. Before you are level 50 and 160 champion points, you do not need to concern yourself with builds, because all of your gear constantly gets outleveled, and you do not have access to a lot of skills yet, so you can just do whatever and then invest into a build when you are at gear level cap. How do you combat? At level 15, you unlock a second weapon slot and set of skills, so you will have access to 2 weapons, 10 skills, and 2 ultimates. Skills are on a 1-second cooldown, so you can't cast them faster than that. Basic attacks with your weapon are also on a 1-second cooldown, but these cooldowns are separate. Thus, you can cast skills between light attacks and squeeze more damage into your rotation. This is called weaving, and it's the core combat mechanic of ESO. While skills provide the bulk of the damage, light attacks activate your enchantments, build your ultimate ability, and proc some sets. In PvE, ESO follows the classic triad of roles: healer, tank, and damage dealer. However, in easier content, you only really need the latter, so even if you aim to be a support later, it's best to start out with a damage build. What does a general skill bar look like? Long-lasting damage over time, ground damage, healing, and long-lasting buffs go on your back bar. Direct damage abilities, short dots, and passive buffs that only affect one bar go on the front bar. ESO skills do not have cooldowns. The numbers you see taken down are skill durations. In essence, to uphold the rotation, you need to keep your damage over time active, cast healing as needed, and when you don't have anything to press, spam your direct damage skill, which is called the spammable. Don't forget to jam a light attack between each skill. Practice in combat is most convenient on target dummies, which you can find in player houses. Dummies have different amounts of health, and the most used ones are those with trial in the name. Those have 21 million health and infuse you with a standard array of various group buffs you'd receive in a 12-man group, so they're useful for testing group builds. This specific type of dummy is what's commonly accepted as a test for DPS builds, and on PC you will always see a damage report from Combat Metrics add-on, which is a complicated screenshot like this one. If your damage is not high enough to whittle down the trial dummies, you can use the small 3 million ones to practice. Speaking of builds, how do you find a good one? ESO has a majorly casual audience, so a lot of builds are tailored towards ease of use and are not necessarily that effective. If you are looking to get the best performance, however, there are some red flags. Build does not include a damage report, just promises and showcases on random enemies. Overabundance of adjectives like overpowered, insane, broken, best, immortal, and similar language. Bragging about specific stats like maximum health or weapon damage as opposed to overall performance. For good and updated build resources, check out the following creators on screen. Whether you are a new or returning player, if you want to be efficient, there are some useful tasks to do before you are level 50. More skills, more better, so go join some guilds. Fighters, Mages, and Undaunted Guild each offer a skill line, and you can join them as early as level 6 or 10. Go to one of the indicated locations and simply talk to the guild steward, and that will unlock the skill line. Note that the Undaunted Guild becomes available at level 10. It's best if you finish its introductory quest, which has you go near or in one of the group dungeons. You don't need to actually beat the dungeon. Then come back to the Undaunted at their tavern and complete the quest. This will ensure that at level 45, when you are able to do Undaunted pledges, the quest that enables them isn't blocked off by the introductory one. There are also other guilds like the Sigix, which is part of Somerset DLC. Though it can be useful, it is more niche and is tedious to get. Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild, part of respective DLCs, do not offer combat advantages. It cannot be understated just how important skill points are, so seek out Sky Shards. Those with a liking for quests will have an advantage, because quests also give skill points. Other ways to get them outside of leveling are group bosses or public dungeons, completing quests in group dungeons, earning ranks in PvP. You must be aware that at level 50, you are able to start using skill lines from classes other than your own. It is called subclassing. These skill lines will level slightly slower than your own ones, and you can replace a maximum of 2 of your own class's skill lines. It is a powerful system that allows a lot of freedom, though it raises the existential question of why we even need classes, for which I do not have time in this video. Level 10 is an important milestone. A lot of systems unlock at this point. Firstly, you get a free mount. All mounts, regardless of appearance, have the same stats, which are upgraded per character. You can increase the mount's speed, sprint duration, and your inventory by visiting any stables daily and paying a small gold fee. But to increase the mount's speed even further, let's get continuous attack passive. For that, we will head to Cyrodiil, which is a PvP area that also unlocks at level 10. If you are interested in the PvP aspect of ESO, check out Malcolm's guide here. From your menu, go to Alliance War tab, L on keyboard, and select any, but preferably less populated Cyrodiil campaign and join it. You should promptly receive an invitation to load in. There are 2 diamond quest markers. One is inviting us to Imperial City, not relevant to us, and the other which offers a tutorial. Take the quest and be vigilant not to skip it. Doing the quest in full will get you enough Alliance points to unlock the speed buff and a couple of other useful skills. Refer to your journal often. This quest is not intuitive even for me recording this. You will be directed to use the Transitor Shrine, which is a special way to travel in Cyrodiil in place of way shrines. Do not worry about PvP, this is a sanctuary zone. Teleport to your other home base, report to the NPC off to the shooting range now, which is located a little ways off from your home base. Just follow the quest markers. Listen to the instructions and shoot some dummies with siege machines. Then repair a siege by slotting a repair kit in your quick slot menu and pressing Q near the siege machine. Talk to some more NPCs, then follow the quest marker to a scroll temple, grab the nearby sky shard, and then go back to your home base. Complete the final round of talking, and thus the Cyrodiil tutorial is finished. Your Alliance War skill lines are now level 3, and you can unlock continuous attack passive, which gives you a 15% mount speed boost. Vigor skill is also a great overtime heal used on a lot of builds. To exit Cyrodiil back into PvE, find a regular way shrine located at your home base, and just teleport to any other zone. You are able to reset your attributes and skills at any point. During leveling, you will receive a respec scroll from the crown store, but it's actually not the main way to do it. You don't need crowns at all. In each Alliance capital and in every chapter main city as seen on screen, you can find the respec shrines, which you can use an infinite number of times for a small fee of gold. You can also reset your whole build or save it and start from scratch by utilizing the armory. For that, you need a house, and if you don't have one, you need the room to spare quest scroll, which is either already in your inventory or you can get it for free from the crown store. The quest will point you towards one of the inn rooms around the map, and after a brief interaction, the room is yours. Then you need the armory, which is also in the crown store for free in the furnishings tab. Enter your inn room, press F5 for housing editor, get the armory from your menu and place it anywhere in the room. Make sure that it has a green outline, otherwise you won't be able to use it. Press F5 again and now the armory is yours to use. Loading an empty build will take off all of your gear, refund all skill points and refund champion points. You do not lose any XP from doing it, and it has unlimited use. You can also save vampire and werewolf curses on the armory. Another milestone of level 10 is access to dungeon queue. Choose a random or specific dungeon and the queue will match you with 3 other players automatically. There are 3 difficulty modes: normal, veteran and veteran hard mode. DLC dungeons are harder than base game ones in all modes. Until level 50 you can only queue for normal dungeons. The higher level you are, the more dungeons will be unlocked. The first random dungeon of the day gives a heap of XP, and so does the first victorious battleground, although that can be harder to achieve. We will focus on dungeons for now. However, the queue times may be daunting for damage dealers, as there are far more of them waiting in queue than tanks or healers. The solution is to be a tank or healer. In normal dungeons, nothing hurts so bad that you need a dedicated role. So, to pose as a healer, grab a restoration staff, some healing class skills on your bar and you're good to go. Tanking requires a bit more preparation. You absolutely need a taunt to manage the boss. There are several abilities that provide it as seen on screen. The easiest way is to grab a one-handed and shield, and the first ability of this weapon line is Pierce Armor, which is a taunt. Reapply it every 5 to 7 seconds on the boss, heal yourself, don't run around, and you'll be a decent enough tank for most normal dungeons. Don't try this stuff in veteran dungeons though, unless you know what you're doing. Apart from questing, exploring, fashion and housing, there are harder activities to engage in, like solo arenas, 4-man dungeons, solo or duo infinite dungeon crawl, 12-man trials and PvP. Each of these offers various rewards like skill points, cosmetics, titles, currencies, collectibles, as well as sense of pride and accomplishment. Rest assured, there is enough content for everyone. Like any MMO, ESO has a massive amount of jargon, and to help you navigate it, here are several pages of terms often used by ESO players. Feel free to screenshot. Accessing amenities like training dummies, mundus stones, set crafting stations, ult recharging and more can be challenging if you're not in a guild, but you can visit other players' houses to use them. One way is to use the home tours feature, which is located in the activity tab. To visit a specific player's house, you can use the following script if you're on PC, and it will teleport you to that house. I am using Elias's house here as an example, because his house on PC EU and NA is superbly stocked. Using other people's houses is not rude, and you are not spending any of the host's resources, so feel free to visit. In-game help tab contains a lot of information about the game's systems, and it's generally reliable. The following resources are also very useful. If you crimed in Tamriel and have a bounty, you can either pay it off to a guard or find an outlaw refuge. Every big city has one, and it has 2 discrete entrances marked by the Thieves Guild symbol. There, you can clear your bounty and sell or launder stolen goods. ESO's UI may seem lacking in places, but much of it can be fixed without internal tweaks. Let's go over some useful changes. All of them will be in the settings menu. Firstly, the ground AoEs can be set to be a lot brighter than default, and they can be any color too. Head into Gameplay, Combat section, enable custom colors and crank up both sliders. You can also change the color of the ground AoE here. In the same section is a useful toggle, Prevent Attacking Innocents. Turn it on to avoid unfortunate accidents. Set quick ground cast abilities to on if you don't want to double tap your ground abilities. If double tap to dodge is not for you, switch it to off in this menu. In camera section, you can increase the field of view for first and third person view and reduce screen shake. In combat section, switch ability bar to always show, ability bar timers and ability back row to on, attribute bars to always show, resource numbers to number and percent, and ultimate number to on. Moving on to controls, some combat actions are best moved to secondary buttons of your mouse, because you need to use them often and the default keybind is clunky. These are dodge, interrupt, and weapon swap. There are many more systems in ESO that are outside of the scope of this guide, but I will mention them briefly for general information. Vampire and werewolf curses exist in ESO, and the most common way to get them is by getting another player to infect you. Vampire passives affect you all the time you have the curse, and they strengthen if you increase your stage by feeding on humanoids. You do not lose vampirism if you don't feed, you just stay at the lowest stage. Werewolf curse does not affect you unless you are transformed. During the transformation, you can only use werewolf abilities. Vampirism skill line levels from normal XP, and werewolf skill line levels from the number of kills while in werewolf form. Companions are similar to Skyrim's followers. You can build your companion in different ways to help you in combat, although they are not very good at it, so it's best to use them as healers or tanks. Currently, there are 8 companions you can unlock, 2 in Crown Store with ESO Plus, and then 2 in each Blackwood, High Isle, and Necrom. They are all somewhat equal in combat proficiency, so choose a companion based on their personality. Antiquities or Scrying is an archaeology minigame that lets you uncover ancient relics like collectibles, furnishings, and some powerful gear known as mythics. It is pretty reliant on DLC access to get ESO Plus when you engage with it. Scribing is a system that lets you construct custom skills. You can unlock it as early as level 30, and it's free for everyone. It is a little grindy and endgame oriented. Addons are available on PC and soon on consoles. They offer a tremendous variety of features, from live damage tracking to housing system overhaul. Addons are free and improve the quality of life so much that the ESO with and without them is an entirely different experience. However, they cannot offer advantage in PvP, alter the game's core functions, or affect other players, and addon functionality can be restricted by ESO's developer. Here are some examples of useful addons. Map Pins uncovers the map and allows you to see locations of world events, sky shards, treasure chests, and much more. Lazy Writ Crafter automates the process of doing daily crafting writs, so it's a huge time saver. Wizard's Wardrobe is a lightweight version of the Armory, allowing you to save and switch between gear and skill setups. It's extremely useful for switching between solo and group setups and a must in trials. On screen now you can see a list of essential addons that are not intrusive but add a bit of quality of life. Installing addons is pretty straightforward. Look up Minion Addon Manager, download Minion software, install and launch it. During initial setup, point it to your addon folder, which is always going to be in your default Documents folder, Elder Scrolls Online, Live, Addons. Minion often doesn't work at this stage, so just restart your PC and try again. Once that's done, you can manage addons easily. Simply search for them in the Find More tab in Minion and install. You do not need to restart ESO for addons to take effect. Just type /reload UI in the in-game chat and then press escape addons menu to see if they are enabled. Likely, most addons will show up in red, with dependency error. Click on the little drop-down next to the addon name to see what additional libraries you need to download, and then look them up in Minion the same way as addons themselves. Reload UI again and you will see addons taking effect. If you still see mostly red, check that you accepted the end-user agreement. The button for it will be at the bottom of your addon list. Most addons will appear as out of date. This is completely normal, as they do not need to be updated every patch. Do not download addons that you don't know the function of. Some UI addons need extensive setup to avoid your screen looking like this, and many addons overlap in their function. Here are some solutions to the most common ESO issues. Google your problem first, ask players on ESO servers such as Wildheart or r/Elder Scrolls Online, and if nothing helps, submit a support ticket on the ESO official website.